Sister Wives undergoes a significant transformation. The relationship has been tense for several months, and Kody Brown appears to have concluded it entirely. By circumventing his frequently mentioned wife Robyn, he unexpectedly purchased a new residence in Aurora's name, where he and Aurora want to commence a new chapter of their lives. Robyn is distraught upon receiving this news. The enduring trust, affection, and aspirations they cultivated together appear to have been irrevocably destroyed. Robyn cannot reconcile with Kody's decision. Ultimately, she has resolved to pursue a legal divorce from Kody. Robyn Brown stated, "There is no possibility of maintaining any further communication with the individual who violated my trust. I no longer wish to pursue this relationship." Overall, the Sister Wives narrative has undergone a significant and dramatic shift as Kody and Robyn's separation progresses. The atmosphere in Flagstaff had become denser, not due to meteorological conditions, but rather an unsettling silence, an oppressive quiet that enveloped Robyn Brown's residence like an unwelcome haze. For months, murmurs of discord between Kody and Robyn had circulated within the Sister Wives fanbase. However, that discord had now culminated in an unforeseen upheaval. The situation commenced with an unforeseen acquisition. Kody Brown procured a residence. This was not an ordinary house, nor was it registered in his or Robyn's name. Rather, the title deed was inscribed in the name of Robyn's daughter, Aurora. Upon receiving a call from a mutual acquaintance stating, "Did you know Kody purchased a house and placed it in Aurora's name?" Robyn had a profound sense of dismay. Perplexed and unsettled, she proceeded to the address, hoping for a misapprehension. A newly painted two-story residence with mountain vistas. Kody stands in the driveway with Aurora, smiling as if nothing is amiss, as if years of mutual commitments hold no significance. Robyn addressed Kody that evening. Her voice quivered, yet her remarks were incisive. "Did you believe I was unworthy of this knowledge? You are cohabitating with my daughter, your stepdaughter, and embarking on a new beginning? Absent my involvement." Kody, who previously exuded confidence, now appeared fatigued and defensive. "It's not what it seems," he stated hastily. "Aurora requires a new beginning, and so do I. The house, it's intended for both of us, but not as you presume." Robyn's voice faltered. "Was I merely a transient experience? A segment you wish to omit now? After all we have constructed?" Kody remained silent. The following morning, Robyn resolved to take a step she had never anticipated. After years of advocating for Kody, even during the departures of the other wives, and relinquishing her autonomy to be the last wife standing, she determined that she would no longer maintain that position. During a poignant press conference, Robyn asserted, "I will not engage in any further communication with the individual who betrayed my trust. I wish to terminate this relationship. Kody has made his decisions, and now I am making mine. I will initiate divorce proceedings." Her voice remained composed, while her eyes glistened with uncried tears. The announcement reverberated across the Sister Wives network, leaving fans astounded. Robyn had consistently been perceived as the preferred wife, the one to whom Kody appeared most devoted. Now, the unimaginable had transpired. Aurora, ensnared in the conflict between her mother and stepfather, emerged as an unforeseen focal point in the turmoil. Although Kody characterized their new life as a healing restart, Aurora harbored doubts. She had not anticipated this situation would culminate in a divorce. Her bond with her mother had always been revered. "I did not request this," she said to a confidant. "I merely sought tranquility. Now I feel as though I have obliterated what little remained." As Kody relocates to the new residence with Aurora, asserting that the transition is aimed at realigning his future, the Sister Wives community prepares for a significant new chapter. For the first time in more than 10 years, Robyn stands independently but with greater strength. In the concluding scene of the fictional season, Robyn is depicted seated on her porch, gazing at the Arizona sunset. Solitary, indeed, but unbroken. "I believed my narrative centered on the dissemination of love," she murmurs to herself. Ultimately, it pertains to rediscovering self-love. Nonetheless, On a sunny afternoon in Flagstaff, Christine's intimate home was permeated with emotion. A camera crew discreetly arranged their equipment as Christine readied herself to disclose the truth that had burdened her for years. This was no longer a matter of resentment. It was about embracing honesty at last. Seated on her living room couch, Christine gazed directly into the confessional camera and spoke with subdued intensity. "Kody never bathed in my residence. Never. Not even during the period when we were ostensibly still in love." The producers were astonished. "Could you clarify your statement, Christine?" one inquired softly off camera. Christine affirmed, "I refer not merely to the act of physical bathing, but to his overall presence. He was never genuinely present in my life or my home. Even during his visits, it seemed as though he was perpetually poised to depart. Furthermore, throughout our years together, I cannot recollect him ever taking a proper shower here. It may seem trivial, yet it encapsulates everything." Christine reminisced about her initial years with the Brown family as the third wife, youthful and optimistic. At that time, the family cohabited, and Christine harbored idealistic aspirations of harmony. However, the reality proved to be starkly contrasting. Kody, already managing his relationships with Mary and Janelle, increasingly devoted less time to Christine. He would visit, deliver groceries, dine, and depart. Christine observed that he maintained his overnight bag zipped. There was no toothbrush in her bathroom, nor a damp towel in her linen basket. It felt as though he were a guest rather than a husband. He would claim to have obligations at Robyn's or errands with Janelle, Christine elucidated, but intrinsically, I understood. I was not his priority. Robyn's arrival altered everything. Christine perceived the difference instantly. "He was infatuated," she remarked with a strained smile. Consequently, his justifications for avoiding my home became increasingly prevalent. The other wives attempted to feign normalcy, but Christine remained unconvinced. "I observed him donning attire for Robyn's, yet when he visited me, sweatpants, occasionally still reeking of cologne from the previous night." She laughed with bitterness. "That man never even left a bar of soap in my shower." The decisive moment occurred when Truly, Christine's youngest daughter, said, "Mom, why does Daddy always leave after dinner?" Christine was at a loss for words. That innocent inquiry resonated in her heart for weeks. Ultimately, she saw that she could no longer maintain the facade. One evening, I remarked to him, "Kody, you never bathe here. You never remain. You never appear." Do you know his response? Christine gazed directly at the camera once more. He stated, "I was unaware of its significance." That moment shattered something within her. She recognized that he had never regarded her home as his own. Consequently, she was finished. In her new residence in Utah, Christine radiates a distinct luminosity. She is dating once again, experiencing increased joy, and has transmuted her anguish into strength. "I currently have a partner who spends the night here," she remarked, partially in jest. "He is unreserved about leaving a toothbrush. He desires to remain. That constitutes love." As the camera transitioned to darkness, Christine's words persisted. "I merit more than a man incapable of cleansing the remnants of his own guilt within my abode." This poignant fictional episode of Sister Women reveals Christine's confession, highlighting the quiet neglect experienced by several polygamous women, as well as the fortitude required to depart from such circumstances. Nevertheless, years had elapsed since Christine and Kody Brown established their equilibrium inside the intricate framework of the sister wives family dynamic. Although polygamy had consistently been characterized by emotional fluctuations, no member of the Brown family could have foreseen the impending turmoil. Christine had been quietly suffering the fissures in her marriage to Kody for an extended period. She observed his increasing emotional detachment as he increasingly prioritized Robyn. Although she endeavored to remain resilient for her children and uphold their shared spiritual principles, she was internally disintegrating. On a frigid morning in Flagstaff, Christine emerged into the backyard with a cup of coffee, enveloped in a warm blanket. Although the snow had not yet commenced, the sky was overcast and oppressive, reflective of her melancholic heart. It was at that moment she resolved to act. "I can no longer endure this," she said to herself, her breath condensing in the air. Later that evening, Christine assembled the entire family in the spacious family room, an occurrence that had not transpired in months. Mary, Janelle, and Robyn observed with intrigue, while Kody sat with arms crossed, evidently displeased by the unexpected gathering. Christine rose and gazed into the eyes of each of her sister spouses, before ultimately locking eyes with Kody. "I am departing," she stated composedly. "I cannot remain in a marriage devoid of love and respect. I merit happiness. My children deserve a mother who radiates joy." Kody's eyes widened in surprise. "Is this regarding the property, once more? Or Robyn?" "Christine, this is absurd." "No, Kody," she asserted, her tone now resolute. "This pertains to years of feeling unheard, invisible, and unloved. I desired for this family to succeed. However, I am finished waiting for change." Robyn appeared astonished. Janelle exuded a subtle sense of encouragement, while Mary fixated on the floor, possibly contemplating her own challenges. The subsequent weeks were characterized by turmoil. TLC cameras captured the Brown family's emotional descent. Kody increasingly frequented Robyn's residence, exhibiting hostility towards producers and attempting to manipulate the narrative. He conducted several interviews, attributing blame to Christine for abandoning God's plan. Christine remained composed. She organized her belongings, secured a nearby rental residence, and concentrated on her children, particularly Truly, who found it challenging to comprehend the abrupt alterations. The most shocking event occurred 2 weeks post-separation when Christine disclosed during a confessional interview, "Kody never genuinely loved me, he merely tolerated my presence. We lacked authentic connection for years. He ceased showering at my residence, displaying affection, and attending." It was a shocking revelation, prompting fans of the show to rally in favor of Christine. Social media was inundated with hashtags such. Kody, unable to manage the story, descended into turmoil. In an uncommon, candid moment recorded on film, he wept while conversing with Janelle. "I am uncertain of my identity. I believed I had everything managed. Christine surprised me. I assumed she would never depart." Janelle, weary of his victim mentality, stated directly, "You did not treat her as a wife, Kody. You regarded her as a mere obligation." Months later, Christine commenced her reconstruction. She increased her social media activity, sharing culinary videos, moments with her girls, and hiking excursions in the Arizona desert. She exhibited more smiles and laughter. During a cooking live stream, she even alluded to a potential romantic interest, inciting a flurry of conjecture among her fans. TLC producers proposed a spin-off series titled Christine, A New Chapter, chronicling her experiences as a single mother managing life, love, and autonomy post-polygamy. She consented. In the concluding episode of Sister Wives, Christine was depicted dancing in her kitchen with her daughter, accompanied by music and illuminated by natural light streaming through the windows. A gentle narration accompanied the scene. Occasionally, freedom is not ostentatious. It is the serene awareness that you have prioritized your own choices. Thus, Christine's narrative transitioned from sorrow to empowerment, astonishing not only Kody but also all others who had undervalued her inherent strength. Nonetheless, months had elapsed since Janelle and Mary Brown had genuinely convened. Following the events involving the wives and Kody, the family had become increasingly estranged. Miscommunications, tension, and the passage of time had widened the rift between Janelle and Mary like an uncrossable canyon. However, one summer afternoon in Flagstaff, this dynamic shifted. Janelle was consuming iced tea on the rear patio of her new rental residence, seeing the pine trees undulate softly in the wind, when her phone vibrated. It was a message from Mary. "Mary, greetings. I am in Flagstaff for a few days. Would you like to reconnect?" Janelle paused momentarily. They had not been close for years. Although they had shared a husband and had children together, emotional intimacy had never characterized their relationship. Nonetheless, There was an unusual quality to Mary's message, gentler, perhaps even genuine. That evening, Mary arrived in her rental car. She exited wearing jeans, her hair recently groomed, with a trace of anxious energy. Janelle welcomed her with a tentative grin, indicating the porch. Prolonged journey? Janelle inquired while she filled a second glass with iced hibiscus tea. Not too bad, Mary responded, reclining in a wicker chair. I required the tranquility. There was a prolonged, substantial silence, although it was not unwelcoming. Mary remarked, I observed the photographs of Savannah's graduation. She appeared stunning. You ought to feel a sense of pride. Janelle smiled brightly. Indeed, I am. She is maturing rapidly. They are maturing rapidly. Mary acquiesced. Leon is as well. They are embracing their authenticity, and I hold it in high regard. I regret not having discovered how to be a more effective mother earlier. It was an unanticipated remark, one Janelle had not foreseen. I believe we all desire to have acted differently, Janelle responded softly. We were merely surviving, not flourishing, attempting to maintain a system that was ineffective for all those involved. Mary gazed at her hands. I lingered longer than I ought to have. I continued to believe that everything will improve. I did as well, Janelle stated candidly. However, perhaps our disintegration was necessary to discover our true selves. They remained silent for a period, sipping tea and observing the sky transition to hues of orange and pink. Do you ever long for it? Mary inquired abruptly. The family? Everyone gathered in one place, sharing laughter, preparing meals, and observing the children at play. Janelle inclined her head, contemplating. I long for what I believed it to be. However, I am now aware. Much of that was merely my imagination of what I desired it to be. Mary acquiesced with a slow nod. Indeed. I also share that sentiment. For the first time in what seemed like years, they laughed, a gentle, understanding, bittersweet chuckle that recognized both the anguish and the beauty of their shared history. Perhaps we were never truly best friends, Janelle remarked. However, that does not preclude the possibility of us becoming allies at present. I would appreciate that, Mary responded, her eyes shimmering with emotion. As the stars emerged in the sky, Janelle ignited a small citronella candle, and the two women conversed about life, healing, fresh beginnings, and the potential for a relationship founded not on shared husbands, but on mutual strength. For once, the focus was not on Kody or the past. It centered solely on Janelle and Mary, two women finally discovering how to reconnect, forgive, and progress. Nevertheless, Robyn sat solitary on the rear porch, her gaze locked on the diminishing sunlight retreating behind the Flagstaff Mountains. The soft whispering of the pine trees could not obscure the turmoil within her heart. For months, the Brown family had been disintegrating, one emotional collapse at a time, and she could not dispel the notion that much of it was attributable to her. Within the household, the formerly lively family dinners had transformed into subdued gatherings, characterized by empty chairs and an abundance of silence rather than mirth. Christine had departed. Janelle opted for solitude, prioritizing autonomy over turmoil. Even Mary, who previously yearned for Kody's affection, now maintained her distance, concentrating on her own well-being rather than the family unit. Kody was irate, resentful, and fatigued. Robyn had not sought to be the favored one, yet she had inadvertently become the focal point of Kody's attention. She did not alienate the other wives. Yet, they were distancing themselves, and Kody no longer pursued them. Instead, he fixated on Robyn, rendering her comparable to a queen in a deteriorating realm. This evening, she resolved to voice her thoughts. That evening, Robyn convened a family meeting. Only Kody, Mary, and Janelle attended via Zoom, while Christine did not respond to the call. Robyn cleared her throat, tears welling in her eyes. I must express something. I must accept accountability for our current situation. Mary's expression was vacant. Janelle appeared fatigued. Kody squinted, immediately on the defensive. I understand that many of you perceive my arrival as a catalyst for change, Robyn said. That I have become the focal point. That I have disrupted the equilibrium we previously maintained. Kody interjected, "That is unjust, Robyn." They withdrew. "I remained because you remained." "Why did they withdraw, Kody?" she said softly. "Because they felt unheard. They felt unselected. And you made it evident. I was the sole priority." Mary blinked, astonished. Janelle inclined her head slightly, her lips compressed. Robyn stated, "I supported you indeed. However, perhaps I should have articulated my concerns earlier. Perhaps I should have conveyed that love does not flourish by forsaking others." Silence enveloped the screen. "I experience guilt daily," Robyn admitted. "I never intended to be the catalyst for this family's disintegration. I aspired to be part of something sacred, something greater than a singular relationship." Mary's voice was gentle. "Then why did you permit it to occur?" "I was apprehensive," Robyn said. "Apprehensive that if I spoke up, I would forfeit the sole possession I had, my position within this family." Janelle finally articulated, her tone both kind and resolute. "Robyn, I appreciate your words. This does not resolve all issues. However, it is a beginning." Later that evening, Kody positioned himself next to Robyn on the couch. "Why at this moment?" he inquired. "I miss our family," she stated. "Not solely you and me, but everyone. I no longer wish to bear the burden of guilt." Kody averted his gaze, grappling with his emotions. Robyn leaned her head on his shoulder. Outside, the wind persisted in its gusts. However, for the first time in an extended period, the atmosphere felt tranquil, indicative of a nascent transformation. It may not signify complete reconciliation, but it could represent an initial stride toward restoration. Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Sabrina, and I hope your day is going splendidly. If you enjoy the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.